Okay, in the last video, we have gone from, actually the last two videos, we've gone from setting up our domain, getting it onto a hosting service provider, and then creating a base installation of WordPress. The next step in that process and bringing it to looking like a highly professional website is to now select a theme. Now, this is my recommendation. Certainly, if you're a designer or you have those kind of skills or you want to do something highly customized, you can certainly engage one of the many talented WordPress designers that are out there. But for my money, for my approach to building websites, I really try to minimize the design work that I do and focus most of my effort on the creating valuable content and resources for my users and my audience. And so I try to actually minimize the amount of time that it takes to actually set up the website, get a nice professional design on it, and get to the main work of making money, at least with my approach, and that is by providing a valuable resource and content to my audience. So with that in mind and that sort of thought process to my system, I go out there and I find a theme. And there's a lot of different theme providers, and I've used several of them. There are some free ones, but this is the one that I really recommend the most. It gives me the most flexibility, provides a really professional product and a lot of different selections, and that's StudioPress, which we're looking at, studiopress.com. There's a link associated with this video, both in the post as well as on YouTube. So, and one of the things I like about StudioPress is there's a sort of a similar back-end design philosophy and how these things are set up. So it gives me a familiar space to operate in, although I have a lot of different options as far as themes to select from, depending on the type of website that I want to set up. It can be anything from real estate, an actual internet marketing or marketing agency. Perhaps you're doing this for your church. There's a nice church theme. If you're doing things more sort of crafty, again, you can sort of think of any sort of main niche that you might want, perhaps education, set something up for your college or your education, maybe doing a family website. Again, just about any niche you can think of, there's a theme already created within this theme framework that StudioPress provides. So I really like this, but I've gone ahead and I've downloaded mine. The one thing that's notable about this, and most of the themes are going to this, is there will be a framework theme, which is sort of this basic theme, very much akin to what this sort of looks like when you first set up WordPress. This is actually a framework of sorts. And then you get into child themes. So you'll need both. You'll need this framework, and you can certainly just use this and nothing else if you just want something simple and looks sort of like a blog. But if you want to get more advanced, something that looks more like a website or a corporate type site, then you would then add in the child theme. And again, you can do all this for a relatively reasonable amount of money. Again, everything I'm showing you all in, setting the entire website, it's going to be less than $100. So let's go ahead and install these. And for this particular project, DetroitOnlineMarketing.com, I've selected to use the Genesis framework, and I'm actually going to use this sleek child theme for my project. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to go back here to our dashboard, and we're going to go down to Appearance. And we're going to click on Themes. And you can see this is the default theme. It's already installed. This comes with WordPress. But I'm going to go over to this Install Themes tab. And I'm going to add my purchased themes in this case. And again, if you get a free one or you buy a different one, really everything you're seeing here is the same as how you're going to do that. So you're going to just select Upload. Choose a file, which is going to go to your desktop, and I've stored this over here in Demos. Okay, so remember I said that it actually has a framework theme, which is this Genesis, and then a child theme, and I actually selected two, but I'm going to use the sleek theme in this case. So the first step you want to do is to select the Genesis theme, and you're going to open that and go ahead and install it. It's just a zip file. So when you get that zip file, when you download it from StudioPress or whoever your theme provider is, don't touch it, don't open it or anything, just leave it as a zip file. So at this point, let's take a look and see. We're going to go ahead and activate this theme because there's nothing else here, so that's not going to hurt anything. Go ahead and set it up, and you can see sort of what we have now. So this is what we had before. We installed the Genesis. Again, this is just the framework. So again, you see something that's pretty much the same actually, because it's just the framework. So it's still going to look sort of like a blog here. So we go in here. There's some basic settings that you'll want to set up in here. I'm not going to do them all here for the demonstration purposes, but I'll show you the things that I tend to tweak, and then we'll see this later when I actually do them. So I usually switch over to a logo, but I'll leave it dynamic text for now until I get my logo created. All the navigation I sort of leave the same. It's often sort of the default way that that's set up, so there's no reason to necessarily change that. At some point I will set up a feed burner and redirect that feed for all my RSS feeds. I think that's a better way to manage your RSS feeds. And then I leave everything else sort of the same. I will set up a category to be my blog. I always suggest doing this, so create a blog, which would simply be a category. And then the last thing I do is add my Google Analytics in here. So that's all the things that I would do and save there. But I'm just going to do default here. But I'm not done. This is my framework, and I now need to set up my child theme. So I'm going to go back here to themes. I'm going to go back to my appearance and go to themes. Okay, and I'm going to go install themes again. So this is my current, again, it's the framework, and you're essentially taking the child and you're installing it on top of Genesis. So it extends that, and that's really the way WordPress is going. That's the approach that they advocate using with these more custom themes. Okay, so I'm going to select my sleek theme. Same way, it's going to be a zip file. Do not touch it, don't open it. Just literally choose that, and all of that will happen with the installer. So it's going to do all that for us. It's just so simple, point and click. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to activate that as well. Okay, so now I have my sleek theme. Let's see what changed here. So go back over to my website, and you'll see the first shapings of my final website. And it gives me lots of instructions here on how to do this, but I'll be showing you all that here shortly. So we can go back over here. We can look into our theme settings haven't changed. And the next thing we're going to do is go through here and set up this theme in some of my SEO settings, and that'll be the next advanced one. Oh, one last note. Again, sometimes depending on when you download it, they update these quite frequently. So again, just like the WordPress itself, they have a push button update. So it's just you've upgraded. It's just as simple as that. And we're done. So we now have a fully updated version of Genesis in our theme. So that's how you install a theme, any sort of theme, into WordPress and start to really shape out that professional website that you're looking for.